Hello, guys. Well, today I wanted to listen for fun. It doesn't mean that you won't have to work. The boot is on the other foot. You will have to, but not in order to check your particular listening skills. Also, general listening comprehension. That's it. The first passage is at elementary level. Well, it is for my elementary level students. You will have to write down a summary based on the listening passage, the first listening passage. Well, it's a bit funny. However, I hope that you will like it. So here it is. I want to tell you something about the boy whom I like very much. We go to the same school, but he is older than me by 2 years. I'm in the sixth grade. He is very handsome. He is tall and well built because he goes to the gym 5 days a week. But I've got a problem. It is that there are 4 girls in his class, and it seems to me that he is in love with one of them. That girl's name's Clarissa. The bitch is nice. Her hair is fair, she is slim, and her skin is white. Whenever she comes to school, she wears something fashionable, and it drives me crazy. It can be a nice blue skirt with a light jacket on. The shoes are always on high heels. She is quite sexy, I should admit. But happily, she is stupid. Whenever their teachers ask her to solve a problem on either mathematics or physics, she starts crying because she hopes that her tears will help her not to get a low grade. Sometimes it works, right? But sometimes the teachers get angry seeing her cry. Every weekend, the headmaster of our school organizes a party where all school students are welcome. Patrick never misses the chance to have fun at the parties. And what I dislike most of all about it is that Clarissa is in his fun-having list under number 1. When the music is on, they both come out to start dancing. Oh, yeah, he's quite good at dancing. But the cow is awkward. She can't move nicely when dancing, and therefore many people around laugh at her. And I'm happy when the sheep is being laughed at. However, he's still with her. Yeah, he's still with her. But I'm not going to give up, you know. I've got a plan. Well, the thing is that I know chemistry well. And on Saturdays, I come to the school chemistry laboratory to carry out different experiments. And I can produce some substance which can provoke her going to the toilet more often than she normally needs to. While she is there, I can come up to him saying what I feel towards him. You know, my mom says that only brave girls stand a chance to be happy in their private lives. She also told me that for their private life happiness, girls must fight, using all they have got at hand. And I will follow her word of advice. He will be mine by all means. As for Clarissa, well, let her cool down in the toilet. The longer, the better. Well, this is the first listening passage for elementary students of mine. And now you're gonna listen to the other one, as I told you before. So there are only 2 listening passages for today's video. Well, it's a bit longer, and I would say that it is more captivating. And it is a true story, by the way. At the end of the second listening passage, I will ask you a question to answer. Please feel free to write your answers in the comments below the passage. I mean, below the video. Okay, it's interesting to see whether or not you managed to guess the right answer or not. Here is the second story. A true one, by the way. I would like to tell you a story which is one of many others which have occurred to me. You should know that I'm into traveling a lot. It means that whenever I have a slightest opportunity to set off somewhere, I never miss the chance. Usually I prefer to visit Oriental countries, for they seem to have some kind of zest, which the West has lost. The story which I'm going to talk about took place in the Arabic Emirates. I had been there many times before, visiting my best friend Layla, and that time wasn't an exception either. She had invited me to spend a fortnight with her family in Abu Dhabi, and that would be great, I thought to myself. In the beginning, everything was quite alright. We went swimming on the shore of the ocean. Also, we had a tour around the desert where I saw representatives of authentic Arabic tribes residing in the wasteland, which they themselves find the most beautiful landscape in the world. They showed me around, letting me see how they cook, tend their herd of sheep, etc. It was absolutely captivating, as I had never seen anything like that before. Also, they told me that there was an old man having lived in the community for many years. None of them was aware of his age, but for some reason all of them were sure that he had some sort of supernatural power. For example, they said to me he could foresee people's future. I should admit that I'm quite skeptic about that type of things, as I'm a professional chemist. But a friend of mine by name Omar, by the way, the meaning of this name is close to the word wise, strongly recommended that I talk to him. Well, it was another long and hot evening in the desert when the sun was going down. The sand turned half red and half black. It was impossible to identify the exact color of the surface, and actually I didn't care much about the color, because I was sitting on the small rock contemplating my past events. I was deep in my mines when, out of the blue, I felt somebody tapping my left shoulder. Opening my eyes, I saw an old man wearing a long, deep blue colored garment. It is a typical type of garment among those guys living there. He was looking at me with an interest, but his gaze was calm. There was a local teenager standing behind him. The old man started to tell me something in a calm voice, but frankly speaking, I couldn't understand anything. Seeing my inability to make out the old man's speech, the young fellow began to translate it into English. And at this point, I will give you only our conversation, okay? He says, I understand that you come from Russia and you often come here. Do you want to know your fate? And I replied, no, I prefer to live my own life, not knowing what will happen to me. But I will tell you a few things anyway, he continued. Saying that, he stared at me, but something seemed to go wrong, because suddenly he shuddered, saying he couldn't see through me. He asked me to write my dream, number one, on a piece of paper, wrap it up and hand it to him. Well, I took the paper and a pencil, jotted down my most essential dream of my life, wrapped it 4 times, and passed it to him. One should mention that while I was writing the words, there was nobody around to oversee what letters were being written. He took the piece, burned it, and rubbed between his palms, whispering something silently. Then he bowed a bit, looking down at my eyes, and started to say out the words I had just written down, letter by letter. Believe me or not, but he was able to decipher my writing. I was absolutely shocked. After I have managed to see your wish, I can foresee your future partially, he continued. However, due to being amazed by his guessing my dream 100%, I barely listened to him, I should say. You ought to understand that nearly 99 out of 100 other people who found themselves in my place would definitely start typically from the words, I would like to. Well, and actually, I had chosen the same words introducing my dream. But my dream is unusual for sure. Believe me or not, it is unusual. Unusual. That's the catch. Despite that, he could do it. Somehow he could do it. I remember only the end of what he was telling me then. He said the following: I know what you want to be like, he said. Also, I know what you are now, and you know what I am. Finally, in the long run, you will be like someone who is half of me and you put together. Well, this is the end of the story. However, I would like to test your analytical thinking. Try to guess what that wizard meant to say about my future. If you listened very carefully to my story, you can guess it. But to do it, you will have to turn on not only your critical thinking, but also logic. Write your guesses in the comments below the video clip. And thank you very much for your attention.